How much do you think I am worth? The question was quiet. That was what made everyone at the table stop moving. Sophia Reed sat beneath the soft recessed lights of a conference room 40 floors above Manhattan, surrounded by people whose watches probably cost more than her car. In front of her rested a single sheet of paper. Check. $5 million. Sophia stared at the number again. 5 million. Enough to pay every bill on her kitchen table. Enough to buy a home with a backyard for her daughter. Enough to create a college fund, replace her aging car, stop checking grocery prices before placing milk in the cart. Enough to change almost everything. Across from her, an attorney in a navy suit folded his hands. The terms are straightforward, Ms. Reed. Sophia looked at the folder beside the check. She had read every page. Twice. The attorney slid a silver pin across the polished table. Sign the agreement, and the funds will be transferred once the required documents are processed. Nobody smiled. Sophia glanced around the room. 3 members of the Beaumont Foundation board sat near the windows. An older woman from the Beaumont family watched her with an expression that was not cruel exactly. It was worse. Certain. They were certain Sophia would take it. Why would she not? She was 30 years old, a single mother, an administrative coordinator at a community center. She lived in an apartment where the kitchen faucet needed convincing before it stopped dripping, and they had put $5 million within reach of her hand. Sophia touched the edge of the check. The room seemed to lean toward her. Just so I understand, she said. The attorney nodded. Of course. If I sign this, I resign from the foundation program. Yes. I agree not to discuss internal matters. That is correct. Sophia looked down at another paragraph. And there are personal conditions. A board member shifted in his chair. The attorney answered instead. The agreement is comprehensive. Sophia almost smiled. Comprehensive. Rich people had beautiful words for ugly things. She lifted her eyes. Does Joseph Beaumont know I am sitting here? No one answered immediately. Sophia noticed. The attorney adjusted his cuff. Mr. Beaumont does not need to be involved in every administrative decision made by the foundation. That was not an answer. Sophia felt something settle inside her. Not anger. Clarity. She looked at the check again. $5 million. For one dangerous second she imagined saying yes. She saw her daughter running across a backyard instead of playing beside an apartment parking lot. She imagined opening the refrigerator without calculating what had to last until Friday. She imagined sleeping through the night without wondering which bill could wait. Her fingers tightened slightly around the paper. Everyone saw it. One board member relaxed against his chair. They thought the decision had been made. Sophia slowly stood. The attorney pushed the pen closer. You only need to sign. Sophia looked at him, then at the people around the table. And what exactly are you paying me to become? Silence. No one reached for the pen now. Sophia lifted the $5 million check from the table. It felt strangely light between her fingers. Piece of paper. That was all. Yet everyone in that room believed it carried enough weight to decide who she was. Sophia held it for another moment, then turned toward the far end of the conference room. Every eye followed her. And beside the wall, only a few steps away, sat a small black wastebasket. 3 weeks earlier, $5 million belonged to a world Sophia Reed never imagined touching. Her morning began with $12.84. That was the amount she had calculated for groceries after paying the electric bill, setting aside gas money, and leaving enough in her checking account to cover her daughter's school lunch balance. Sophia stood in her small kitchen at 6:15 in the morning, staring at the calculator on her phone. Okay, she whispered. We can work with that. The apartment was modest but warm. A child's drawing hung crookedly on the refrigerator. 2 coffee mugs dried beside the sink. A grocery list sat beneath a stack of unopened mail, with 3 items crossed out because they could wait another week. Behind her, small footsteps crossed the floor. Mom! Sophia turned. Her daughter stood in the doorway holding one sneaker. I cannot find the other one. Sophia smiled. Have you checked the place where shoes usually perform their disappearing act? The couch. The couch. 2 minutes later, the missing sneaker was recovered from underneath it. Sophia helped tie the laces, then returned to the kitchen and divided scrambled eggs between 2 plates. Her daughter looked at Sophia's smaller portion. "You gave me more. You are growing." "So are you." Sophia laughed. "I am 30. I think that part is finished." For a moment the bills disappeared. That was Sophia's gift. Not pretending problems did not exist. Refusing to let them become the only thing that existed. At 7:20 they left the apartment. Sophia drove an 11-year-old sedan with a heater that worked whenever it felt cooperative. She dropped her daughter at elementary school, waited until the little girl reached the entrance, then lifted one hand through the windshield. Her daughter waved back. Only then did Sophia drive away. The community center opened at 8:30. By 8:15, Sophia was already behind the front desk. She answered emails, organized intake forms, returned 2 phone calls, and helped an elderly man understand which documents he needed for a utility assistance application. At 9:10, a mother arrived carrying a toddler and an expression Sophia recognized immediately. Exhaustion. "I am sorry," the woman said. "I know I am early." "You are not early. My appointment is at 10. Sophia glanced at the waiting area. "You are exactly on time for coffee." The woman almost cried. Sophia did not mention it. She simply poured 2 cups. By lunchtime, Sophia had eaten half a turkey sandwich at her desk while correcting a scheduling error that could have delayed assistance for 6 families. Her supervisor stopped beside her. "You know you are allowed to take a break." Sophia looked at the stack of files. "I know. That means away from the desk. I have heard rumors." Her supervisor smiled and walked away. Sophia finished the form. Then her phone vibrated. A banking notification. She looked at the balance for 3 seconds before locking the screen. Friday would be tight. She would manage. She always did. Outside, a black luxury sedan pulled quietly to the curb. Sophia did not notice. She was helping a volunteer carry boxes through the front hallway. The rear door of the sedan opened. A tall man stepped onto the sidewalk, dressed in a perfectly tailored suit. Joseph Beaumont had arrived without photographers, without an announcement, and without any idea that the woman inside would soon force him to see his own foundation differently. Sophia shifted the box against her hip. Then she noticed him standing directly in the doorway. She raised an eyebrow. "Sir." Joseph looked at her. "If you are going to stand there," she said, "you can at least carry one." Joseph Beaumont looked at the blue box. Then he looked at Sophia. For most of his adult life, people had recognized him before he reached the door. Hotel managers remembered his preferences. Executives stood when he entered conference rooms. At charity events, strangers somehow knew exactly where to position themselves when cameras appeared. Sophia Reed was pointing toward a cardboard box. "The blue one," she said. "It is lighter." Joseph glanced down at his tailored suit. "Is that your professional assessment?" Sophia adjusted the heavier box against her hip. "It is my professional attempt to get you out of the doorway." A smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Joseph picked up the box. "Where does it go?" "Multipurpose room. Down the hall, second door on the left." He followed her inside. The community center was nothing like the foundation headquarters in Manhattan. The floors were clean but worn. Children's artwork covered one wall. A handwritten calendar listed tutoring sessions, food distribution hours, parenting workshops, and legal aid appointments. People were everywhere. Real people. Not statistics in an annual report. Sophia pushed open the multipurpose room door with her shoulder. Table by the window. Joseph placed the box down. "What is inside?" "School supplies." He looked at the stack. "Foundation program?" "Partly. Local donations cover what the grant does not." Joseph's expression changed slightly. "The grant is supposed to cover the full program." Sophia gave him a brief look. "Then somebody should tell the pencils." Before Joseph could answer, a woman hurried into the room. "Mr. Beaumont." Sophia stopped. Her eyes moved from the woman to Joseph, then back again. "Mr. Beaumont." Joseph set both hands lightly on the edge of the table. "Joseph is fine." Sophia stared at him for one long second. "Joseph Beaumont?" "Yes." "The Joseph Beaumont? I am concerned there may be another one." Sophia closed her eyes briefly. She had just ordered the billionaire chief executive officer, whose foundation helped fund her workplace, to carry a cardboard box. "I am sorry." Joseph's smile disappeared. Not because he was offended, because she suddenly sounded different. "For what?" "I did not realize who you were." "I was still standing in the doorway." Sophia looked at him. Joseph nodded toward the box. "And you were right. I was in the way." Something in her shoulders relaxed. A little. The center director approached, apologizing for not being ready to greet him. Joseph listened politely, but his attention drifted toward Sophia as she returned to work. Within minutes, she was helping a father complete an application while answering a volunteer's question and locating a missing folder. Nobody treated her as important, yet everyone seemed to need her. Joseph had come expecting a 40-minute review of a program his foundation supported. He stayed for nearly 2 hours. He watched parents arrive carrying paperwork they barely understood. He watched volunteers stretch limited supplies across more families than the monthly report suggested. And he watched Sophia move through all of it without making anyone feel like a burden. Near the end of his visit, Joseph found her beside the front desk. "You knew the school supply budget was short." Sophia nodded. "How short?" "Depends on the month." "Why was that not in the report?" Sophia hesitated. "Do you want the polite answer?" Joseph almost smiled. "No. The reports tell you what the program purchased." She glanced toward the families in the waiting area. "They do not always tell you what people still needed afterward." Joseph became quiet. Outside, his driver was waiting. Upstairs, executives expected him back before lunch. But for the first time that morning, Joseph was looking at something no spreadsheet had shown him. Sophia reached for another file. Joseph stopped her gently with a question. "What else am I not seeing?" She looked into his deep blue eyes, then toward the crowded waiting room. "A lot." 3 nights later, Sophia was still at the community center when the cleaning crew arrived. The waiting room had gone quiet. Most of the lights were off, except for the small lamp on Sophia's desk and the fluorescent glow above the hallway. Beside her, her daughter sat at a folding table doing math homework with a yellow pencil. Sophia held a phone against her ear. "Yes, I understand your emergency beds are full." She listened. "Do you know anyone who might have space tonight?" Another pause. Sophia wrote down a number. "Thank you." "Really?" She ended the call. Her daughter looked up. "Still no." "Still looking." Earlier that afternoon, a mother named Rachel had arrived with 2 children and a notice from the temporary housing program she had been using. Her placement ended that evening. The Beaumont Foundation had emergency assistance funds. On paper, the solution looked simple. In reality, approval required documents, verification, signatures, and processing time Rachel did not have. Sophia had made 14 calls. She made the 15th. At 8:17, the front door opened. Joseph Beaumont stepped inside. He had returned for a folder his assistant had accidentally left after an afternoon meeting. Then he saw Sophia. "You are still here." She covered the phone. "So are you." Joseph glanced toward her daughter, then at the files spread across Sophia's desk. "What happened?" Sophia finished the call before answering. "A family needs temporary housing tonight." "Does our emergency program cover it?" "Yes." "Then use it." Sophia looked at him. "I would love to." Joseph heard the answer beneath the answer. "What is stopping you?" Sophia opened the folder and turned it toward him. "Approval." Joseph scanned the paperwork. "This could take 3 business days." "Exactly. And they need somewhere tonight?" Sophia nodded. Joseph reached into his jacket for his phone. She immediately understood. "Please do not." He stopped. "I can pay for a hotel." "I know." "Then why not let me?" "Because tomorrow there will be another Rachel." Sophia's voice remained gentle. "And you might not be standing here tomorrow." Joseph slowly lowered the phone. That silenced him. Sophia pointed toward the paperwork. "She does not need a billionaire tonight. She needs a system that works when a billionaire is not in the room." Joseph looked at the forms again. For years, he had measured generosity in dollars distributed. Sophia was showing him something harder to measure. Time, access, dignity. At 8:43, another call finally changed everything. A church housing network had a furnished family apartment available for emergency placement. The arrangement was legitimate, temporary, and already connected to a local nonprofit partner. Sophia closed her eyes for 1 second. Relief. "Thank you," she whispered into the phone. Her daughter smiled from across the room. "You found one." Sophia smiled back. "We found one." Joseph watched her complete the final referral paperwork. No celebration. No speech. She simply moved to the next necessary thing. 20 minutes later, Rachel arrived with her children. Sophia explained the arrangement carefully, handed her the address, and made sure she understood whom to call in the morning. Rachel's eyes filled. "I do not know how to thank you." Sophia shook her head. "You do not owe me anything." After the family left, the building became quiet again. Joseph remained near the desk. Sophia gathered the scattered forms into a stack. "You can go home, Mr. Beaumont." "Joseph." She looked at him. "Joseph." He glanced toward her daughter, now asleep with her head resting beside an unfinished math worksheet. Then he looked at Sophia. "You stayed all night for someone you barely know." Sophia gently placed her daughter's sweater over the sleeping child's shoulders. "No, Joseph waited." Sophia lowered her voice. "I stayed because she had nowhere else to go." Joseph said nothing. For the first time, $5 million in charitable funding felt less important to him than the 15 phone calls one tired mother had been willing to make. By Monday morning, Joseph had asked for every emergency assistance file from the previous 12 months. Not summaries, not charts, the actual files. They covered half the conference table in his Manhattan office. His chief operating officer stood across from him. The program distributed more than $4 million last year. Joseph opened another folder. "I know. Our approval rate is strong." "I know that too." "Then what exactly are we looking for?" Joseph turned the folder around. A family had requested $870 to prevent a utility shutoff. Approval time 9 days. Another family needed $1,200 for temporary housing. 11 days. A mother requested $600 for emergency childcare after starting a new job. 7 days. Joseph leaned back. How many applications were approved after the emergency had already happened? The room became quiet. That afternoon, Joseph returned to the community center. Sophia was sorting intake forms when she saw him carrying a thick stack of folders. "That looks serious." "It is embarrassing." She studied his expression. Joseph placed the files on her desk. "We gave away millions of dollars last year." "That sounds less embarrassing." "We also made families wait an average of 6 business days for emergency assistance." Sophia said nothing. Joseph tapped one folder. "This woman needed $870. I remember her. She was approved after her electricity was disconnected." Joseph's jaw tightened. Sophia closed the folder gently. "She got it restored." "That is not the point." "No," her voice softened. "It is not." Joseph looked around the center. "Why did nobody tell me?" Sophia held his gaze. "People probably did." He frowned. She walked toward a filing cabinet and removed a stack of photocopied forms. "These are escalation requests from the last 6 months." Joseph took them. There were dozens. "Your office received these?" "The foundation received them." "That is not what I asked." Sophia paused. "I do not know what reached your desk." The distinction landed harder than accusation would have. Joseph slowly turned through the pages. He had believed his foundation was close to the people it served. But between his office and Sophia's front desk were committees, reports, approvals, presentations, and layers of people whose job was to make complicated problems look manageable. Sophia pointed toward the files. "These are not bad policies because bad people wrote them." Joseph looked at her. "They are bad because emergencies do not care when the committee meets." For a moment, neither spoke. Then Joseph noticed a framed photograph near Sophia's desk. Sophia and her daughter stood beside a small birthday cake, both laughing. He looked away before the moment became too personal. "What would you change?" Sophia blinked. "Me. You are the person who stays until 8:43 making 15 phone calls because our system cannot move fast enough." A faint smile touched her face. "You counted. I remember things that bother me." Sophia considered the question. Then she pulled out a chair. Fine. Joseph sat. She placed 3 files between them. Start here. For the next hour, Sophia explained what the reports had missed. Emergency requests below a certain amount could receive same-day review. Frontline coordinators could be given limited authorization. Partner organizations could be pre-approved instead of verified during every crisis. Nothing revolutionary. Nothing glamorous. Just practical changes designed by someone close enough to see where people were falling through the cracks. Joseph listened. Really listened. When Sophia finished, he looked at the 3 folders. You just solved problems my consultants have been discussing for 6 months. Sophia raised an eyebrow. Do not tell them that. They probably charge more than I do. Joseph laughed, surprised both of them. Then his expression became thoughtful again. He had come to the center believing money was the foundation's greatest resource. Sophia was teaching him otherwise. Money could open a door, but only if someone noticed a family standing outside it. And for the first time, Joseph began wondering how many doors Sophia Reed had been quietly holding open while people like him were taking credit for building them. The changes began quietly. No press release. No cameras. Joseph simply started asking different questions. How long did families wait? Who could approve emergency funds after 5 in the afternoon? What happened when a parent needed help on Friday night, but the next committee review was Monday morning? Within 2 weeks, the Beaumont Foundation had begun testing a faster emergency assistance process at Sophia's community center. And Joseph kept coming back. Sometimes he arrived with folders, sometimes with questions. Once, to Sophia's amusement, he arrived carrying 2 blue cardboard boxes without being asked. You are learning, she said. Joseph placed them on the table. I respond well to training. Sophia smiled. From across the room, 2 foundation representatives noticed. They noticed something else too. When Joseph wanted to understand how a policy affected families, he no longer called a consultant first. He called Sophia. At Beaumont Foundation headquarters, that change did not go unnoticed. She is an administrative coordinator, one board member said during a private meeting. Joseph's aunt, Margaret Beaumont, sat near the end of the polished table. She appears to have become considerably more than that. The board member lowered his voice. Joseph trusts her. Margaret looked toward the Manhattan skyline. That is precisely what concerns me. Nobody accused Sophia of anything directly. They did not need to. They spoke in careful phrases. Boundaries, reputation, access, influence. The language sounded professional. The assumptions beneath it were not. A single mother from a modest apartment had somehow gained the attention of Joseph Beaumont. To them, there had to be a reason. 3 days later, Sophia received an email requesting a meeting at Foundation headquarters. The subject line mentioned professional advancement. She read it twice. Her supervisor smiled when Sophia showed her. You earned this. Sophia wanted to believe that. The following Thursday, she took the train into Manhattan wearing the best professional outfit she owned. Before leaving home, her daughter had hugged her. Are you getting a promotion? I do not know. You should. Sophia laughed. Thank you for your unbiased professional opinion. At 40 floors above the city, a receptionist escorted Sophia into a conference room. She expected Joseph. He was not there. Instead, Margaret Beaumont sat beside 2 board members and an attorney. Sophia slowed near the doorway. Is Mr. Beaumont joining us? Margaret offered a polite smile. Please sit, Ms. Reed. Sophia did. A leather folder rested in front of the attorney. No one mentioned a promotion. The attorney began speaking about the foundation's reputation, organizational boundaries, and the importance of avoiding situations that could be misunderstood. Sophia listened. Then she understood. This is about Joseph. Margaret folded her hands. This is about protecting everyone involved. From what? No one answered directly. Sophia's face became still. If you think I am using him, say it. Margaret's expression tightened. We are trying to prevent unnecessary complications. Sophia looked around the table. I have never asked Joseph for anything. We understand. No, Sophia said softly. I do not think you do. The attorney opened the leather folder. There is a way to resolve this privately. He placed several pages on the table. Then he reached inside again. Sophia heard paper slide across polished wood. A check stopped in front of her. For several seconds, she did not understand what she was seeing. Then she saw the number, $5 million. Her breath caught. The attorney placed a silver pin beside it. The agreement requires your resignation from the program, confidentiality regarding foundation matters, and the termination of personal contact with Mr. Beaumont. Sophia stared at the check. $5 million. Then she slowly raised her eyes. Does Joseph know about this? No one answered. And in that silence, Sophia learned exactly how little these people believed her dignity was worth. Sophia looked at $5 million and thought about $12.84. That was the cruelest part. She could not pretend the money meant nothing. It meant everything money was supposed to mean. Security, a reliable car, a home where her daughter could have her own backyard, a college account large enough that one day, her child could choose a future without first asking what it cost. Sophia looked down at the agreement. The attorney waited. Margaret Beaumont remained perfectly composed. You would have sufficient time to review the documents with independent counsel, the attorney said. There is no expectation that you sign without understanding the terms. Sophia almost appreciated that. Almost. She turned another page. Resignation. Confidentiality. No personal communication with Joseph. The language was polished, careful, expensive. But beneath all of it was one assumption. Sophia Reed could be purchased. She rested her hand beside the check. What happens to the emergency program? One board member frowned. I am sorry. The changes we have been testing. Same-day review. Frontline authorization. Pre-approved community partners. Margaret answered. Those matters are separate from this discussion. They are not separate to me. Ms. Reed, this agreement would provide extraordinary security for you and your daughter. Sophia looked at her. That sentence hurt more than she expected, because it was true. $5 million could give her daughter things Sophia had quietly worried about for years. She imagined calling the landlord and saying she was leaving. She imagined buying groceries without adding numbers in her head. She imagined replacing the old sedan before the transmission decided the matter for her. For several seconds, Sophia wanted the check. She wanted it so badly that she hated herself for wanting it. Then she thought of her daughter asking about the meeting that morning. Are you getting a promotion? Sophia swallowed. What would you tell Joseph? The attorney paused. That the professional relationship had become unsuitable, and you chose to pursue other opportunities. Sophia stared at him. So you would lie. I would not characterize it that way. I would. Silence. Sophia looked at Margaret. And what would I tell my daughter? Margaret's confidence faltered slightly. That is a personal matter. Yes. Sophia nodded. It is. She slowly lifted the check. $5 million rested between her fingers. A board member released a quiet breath, as though the difficult part was over. Sophia noticed. She stood. The attorney pushed the pen toward her. You only need to sign. Sophia looked at the pen, then at the check. Her voice remained calm. $5 million would solve almost every problem I have. Nobody moved. It would pay every bill. It would give my daughter opportunities one cannot give her now. It would make my life easier in ways you probably understand better than I do. Margaret watched her carefully. Sophia took one step away from the table. But it would create one problem I could never fix. She turned toward the wastebasket near the wall. My daughter would grow up knowing her mother let rich people decide what she was worth. The room froze. Sophia walked across the carpet. No anger. No performance. She simply opened her fingers. The check fell into the wastebasket. $5 million disappeared beneath a discarded envelope. Sophia turned back toward the table. I am resigning because I choose to. The conference room door opened behind her. Everyone looked up. Joseph Beaumont stood in the doorway. His expression was calm, but his eyes were fixed on the wastebasket, then on Sophia. And from the silence that followed, she knew one thing immediately. He had heard enough. Joseph did not raise his voice. He did not need to. What is this? Nobody answered. His eyes moved from Margaret to the attorney to the open agreement on the table, then to Sophia. She stood beside the wastebasket, shoulders steady, face composed. Joseph crossed the room. He picked up the agreement. The first page told him enough. $5 million. Resignation. Confidentiality. No personal contact. Joseph slowly lowered the document. Who authorized this? Margaret stood. Joseph, we were protecting the foundation. From Sophia? We were protecting you. Joseph looked at her. The disappointment in his expression was quieter than anger. That was not your decision to make. Margaret drew a breath. You have allowed an employee to influence foundation policy, and your personal interest has become obvious. Sophia looked away. Joseph did not. She influenced policy because she understood where it was failing. This has become more complicated than policy. No, Joseph said. You made it more complicated. The room went silent. Joseph turned toward Sophia. I did not know about this. I know. Her answer surprised him. How? Sophia glanced toward the table. Because if you had known, you would have come yourself. Joseph absorbed that. Not praise. Trust. And somehow that made what had happened feel worse. I am sorry. Sophia nodded once. But I meant what I said. I am resigning. Joseph's expression changed. Sophia. Please. He stopped. She walked back toward the table. I will not stay because you feel guilty. And I will not stay because everyone in this room suddenly realizes they misjudged me. Joseph listened. If I come back, it has to be because the work matters. It does. Then fix the structure. Sophia pointed toward the agreement. No family should be able to use this foundation as a private tool. Not yours. Not anyone's. Margaret lowered her eyes. Sophia continued. The people at that community center trust us. They should never have to wonder whether decisions are being made for them or for someone's reputation. Joseph looked at the board members. She is right. One man shifted uneasily. Joseph placed the agreement on the table. This meeting is over. Margaret looked at him. And the consequences? There will be accountability. His voice remained measured. But there will not be a public spectacle. Sophia watched him carefully. Joseph could have humiliated them. He could have used power the same way they had. He chose not to. Instead, he turned back to Sophia. What would make you consider returning? She thought for a moment. Independent oversight. Joseph nodded. Frontline staff represented in emergency program decisions. Yes. Written limits on board interference. Yes. And I want the program evaluated by whether families receive help in time, not by how impressive the annual report looks. A faint smile touched Joseph's face. That one may upset several consultants. They will survive. Joseph almost laughed. Then his expression softened. And you? Sophia understood the question. I will survive too. Joseph looked toward the wastebasket. $5 million was still there. He could have written another check. 10 million. 20. For most of his life, money had been the fastest way to move obstacles. But Sophia had already taught him what happened when money entered a room before respect did. So Joseph left the check where she had put it. He offered no mansion, no private account, no rescue. He simply said, "Give me 1 week." Sophia studied him. To do what? To build something you would be willing to return to. For the first time since entering the conference room, Sophia's expression softened. 1 week. Joseph nodded. And as Sophia walked toward the door, he understood the lesson everyone else in that room had missed. She had never needed him to give her value. She had needed him to recognize the value that was already there. 1 week became 3 months. Sophia returned to the community center on a Monday morning, not because Joseph had persuaded her with promises, but because the promises had become policy. The foundation created independent oversight. Frontline employees gained seats in emergency program meetings. Smaller urgent requests could receive same-day approval. Community partners were verified in advance before families needed them. And board members could no longer quietly reshape programs to protect private interests. Sophia read every page before agreeing to return. Joseph expected nothing less. By spring, the difference could be measured in something more meaningful than dollars. Families were waiting hours instead of days. Parents were getting temporary housing before losing the place they already had. Childcare assistants arrived before new employees missed their first week of work. The foundation still had millions. Now, the money moved when people actually needed it. One Saturday morning, Sophia stood inside the community center beneath a handmade sign her daughter had helped paint. Family Resource Day. Her daughter stood on a small stepladder, trying to tape one corner higher. "It is crooked," Sophia said. "It is artistic. It is definitely something." A familiar voice came from behind them. "I have been told I am excellent with boxes. Signs may be outside my training." Sophia turned. Joseph stood there in jeans, a light sweater, and the same calm expression that somehow looked different outside a boardroom. Her daughter pointed toward the ladder. "You can hold this." Joseph obeyed immediately. Sophia folded her arms. "For a billionaire, you are getting pretty good at carrying things." Joseph looked at her. "I had a good teacher." She smiled. It had taken months for moments like that to become easy. Joseph never asked Sophia to forget what had happened. He never tried to replace the check. He did not pay her rent, buy her a car, or move her into a different life. Instead, he learned the boundaries of hers. Sometimes they drank coffee after work. Sometimes he joined Sophia and her daughter for Saturday lunch at a neighborhood diner. Sometimes they disagreed about foundation policy for 40 minutes, then laughed because neither one remembered how the argument had started. Nothing moved quickly. That mattered. One afternoon, Sophia's daughter asked Joseph a question while coloring at the kitchen table. "Are you rich?" Joseph glanced at Sophia. She tried not to laugh. "Yes." "Like, really rich?" "Yes." The little girl considered this. "Then why does mom still use coupons?" Sophia covered her face. Joseph smiled. "Because your mother likes making her own decisions." Her daughter nodded as if that made perfect sense. Sophia lowered her hands. Their eyes met, and there it was. Not rescue, respect. Months later, Joseph walked beside Sophia after another resource event as evening settled over the neighborhood. He carried one empty cardboard box. She carried another. "You know," Joseph said, "there was a time when I thought the most important thing my family could give people was money." Sophia glanced at him. "And now?" Joseph thought for a moment. A fair chance to keep their dignity while receiving help. Sophia smiled softly. "That is better." They reached her car. Joseph placed the box in the trunk, then stepped back. No grand declaration followed. No expensive gift waited inside. Just a quiet look between two people who had learned not to rush what mattered. 3 months earlier, Sophia had walked away from $5 million. Not because money meant nothing to her. She knew exactly what it could have changed. She walked away because there was one thing she refused to let anyone purchase: the right to decide what she was worth.